targeting Hamas. All of it. Its infrastructure, its leadership, its terrorists. We will make sure that they can no longer be a threat to Israelis, that they can no longer be a threat to the region. I don't think the world has seen the kind of massacre that Hamas perpetrated on October the 7th for a long time, and I pray the world will never see a massacre like that again. So what the Israel Defense Forces is doing right now is eradicating Hamas, making sure that actions like the actions that they perpetrated on October the 7th will never ever happen again.
Are you abiding by international laws of war and humanitarian conventions?
Well, of course, the Israel Defense Forces is a professional military. It acts according to international law as professional military operations always do. It is very clear about its targeting. It is very clear about going after the perpetrators of the attack, the planners of the attack, the attackers themselves, all within international law.
What about the hundreds of Gazan civilians who are becoming a collateral damage, dying horribly in the eyes of the international community?
Well, the IDF has been absolutely clear that our target is Hamas. The IDF has been absolutely clear that Gazans need to move down south and out of danger. It is Hamas which has stopped them from doing it. It is Hamas that has set up roadblocks to stop Gazans from reaching safety. The idea of that is absolutely appalling. The IDF is encouraging Gazans to reach safety. Hamas is doing everything that it can to stop them. And why? That is happening because Hamas hides behind civilians in the most cowardly way. It always has. That is what it is doing now. But the IDF will continue to eradicate Hamas and just Hamas.
Major had an interview this morning with the UNRWA director, and he accuses Israel of bombing not just the northern Gaza as you had initially said, but you're bombing and attacking the entire region of Gaza where civilians are majorly located.
Well, if there are specific Hamas targets, the IDF will attack those targets. But it is done giving warnings. It is done against Hamas and just Hamas itself. There is no other option that the IDF has except to do this. And it is done again within international law. You know, we need to be clear about international law. International law is extremely precise about the fact that if an atrocity, if an attack is perpetrated against a nation state, they don't just have a right, they have a duty to make sure that that is stopped.
There is an element of proportionality.
I'm not entirely sure, sir, what proportionality means. The IDF is not going to act the way Hamas acted, if that is what we think proportionality means, in the most animalistic, in the most bestial way. We will act according to international law as a modern military does, as a professional military does.
One last question. What is delaying your much anticipated ground offensive? Is it international political pressure?
Well, the IDF operates according to its own clock. The IDF is answerable to the political echelon and will act when the time is right, as the political echelon decides and as the IDF itself decides. We run our own war clock here, not anybody else's.
How soon can we expect the ground offensive to begin?
Well, when it begins, you will know.
Thank you very much, Major. நம்மோடு இஸ்ரேலிய இராணுவத்துடைய முதன்மை செய்தி தொடர்பாளர் கூறிய கருத்துக்களை கேட்டோம். Back to the studio.
Right. Thank you, ஹரிஹரன். 7 மணி செய்தியில் மீண்டும் இணையலாம் ஒரு சிறிய இடைவேளைக்கு பிறகு.